being out there homeless on that street, and if you're not on drugs and stuff like that, you're actually homeless by means that's really not of your fault. People don't understand a lot, and they don't want to hear it a lot because you're always going to be classified as a dope fiend or a junkie, regardless of what your situation. And half the time, people don't ask you or take time to find out what your situations is. So I just coming home. I mean, going to work early. I mean, earlier a couple of days ago. What, yesterday, day before.
Day before, I believe.
Yeah, and I was just seeing this guy, and he had with one of those blankets that we use to move furniture with, to wrap furniture up, and to try to keep warm. It was so cold, and him and his buddies, they were sitting underneath the bridge, all huddled up together, like us body heat. And I know that feeling, so I was just going to basically just on the Facebook pages and all that stuff, pretty much ask anybody once I get everything prepared to see if they can donate a jacket, a coat, or something, so that way we can go ahead and and go ahead and pass them out to some of the homeless, and because they got homeless kids and everything out. So I have kids' jackets that I've already started collecting. My daughter actually donated some herself, so she's gonna donate them to some home kids that may need them or something. And even if you're not homeless, if they just need, you don't have, you don't can't get provided, with jackets, warm jackets, because as you see, winter is getting cold. So
it's cold out there on my way here.
Yes. So just anyone that can help, we'll give out information where it can be, dropped off at later on our next cast, probably Friday, and stuff like that. But that's pretty much what I wanted to do. And L, on your end, what do you think? What do you think about that?
Man, it's a broad topic. Unfortunately, it's a broad topic. It really has simple answers. We allow a lot of politics to come into play and dilute our answers where they don't really have any effect in our communities. At the end of the day, we have people who have nowhere to go, whether it be by choice or by circumstances, pushing them in a position, they need help. I hear a lot of people talk, we worked at a TV station before, where you talk about that's socialism, when you take what you have and give it to somebody else, everybody shares everything. Like, we want capitalism. I don't, if it's socialism for a person to share from their overflow and give it to somebody who has no flow, then I guess I'm a socialist, because it don't make no sense for me to have something if someone don't have anything. If you say, well, you worked hard for that, and they didn't work hard. If you were hearing so many stories that you told me, so okay, I myself was in a situation where I was living in the subways in D.C. About 3-4 months there. That's only some people, but long enough to have that whole effect of being quote unquote homeless.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a very real story behind me. It's better for me to be homeless than for it was for me to be with a home at that time. Being in, I've been alive. I've been killed at an early age. I did what I had to do. So before we judge people who are quote unquote, we believe it are less than us or have less than us or don't have what we have, it would be good sometimes to sit down and down a cup of coffee, sit down and just hear the story, talk to them, hear them out.
You said hear them out. Hey, but see,
Yeah, hear them out.
But now, I will say this: some people that's in those situations are in those situations for mental health issues and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? So some of them are pretty hard to approach in that fashion, like the help out fashion, because I've sat down and given someone some change and they got mad because it wasn't the amount that they wanted. You know what I mean? So then with me and my temper, I'm ready to go with the hands.
Lord Jesus, not on the homeless.
But you'll get brownie points for beating up a homeless person. You get dirty, you get real dirty. EJ, your background is real loud.
Ain't nothing going on in my background.
No, we're echoing.
I'm sitting in the dark.
Are you in the house?
He's in the house.
Yeah,
You on speaker?
yeah.
That's why. But anyway, it still sounds good. I got you. So, what about down there in South Carolina? You guys got a big homeless problem down there?
Let me say something. Say what's poor for folks that are poor. You're gonna have the poor. The poor are gonna be with us always.
Right.
We're gonna, no matter where you go, you're gonna have people who are without and destitute,
Right.
without a place to stay, their head. We can be more cognizant of the people that are around us. It's a sad day when you walk around. Even had these videos on social media
Right.
where you're walking through trying to help homeless people or somebody that's not homeless. It seems like they're homeless, sitting on the side of the street looking for help, and people walk by like that on your head.
And you said right by and do what? Like
they feel like they don't see it.
Oh, okay. And that's down there.
Yeah.
That's how they doing it.
It's everywhere.
Yeah. It's real. It's getting really bad. Now, I work in Virginia a lot, and one thing I don't see is a lot of like sign holding for homeless people up there that's like scattered all in the place around the place in the Virginia area, like in the high class Virginia area, you know. So, but here in Baltimore,
Yeah.
DC, boy, it's really getting really bad, you know, especially with this COVID, people losing their jobs, losing their businesses. And now
it's going to get even worse. They're not getting relief out there.
And the craziest thing that I'm worried about, I'm not worried, but the thing that I pray doesn't happen is the people that's always had that may just lost the business and they're not used to living in a poverty atmosphere.
Yeah.
How they're gonna react to it and how they're gonna take to it. You know, like the people like Trump, when he go to prison, you know, that kind of stuff.
But that's wishful thinking.
You know, I mean, that's the only place he can go. You know?
Right.
But, you know, I mean, it's just when you think about it, about how some of the homeless people that became homeless, some of them by circumstances that was beyond their own control, how they're treated, like worse than animals sometimes.
Yeah. So I know for me, once upon a time when I was in high school, my dad used to be the lead cook at a homeless shelter.
Okay.
For families.
Okay.
And for my high school credit, because you know back then you had to do a certain amount of volunteer hours to get from school
community
credit, so community service. Yeah. Right. So I was working at the shelter to get the credits. Okay. And it was an interesting learning process to come across contact with people who are homeless, the entire family, mother, and like this is like literally families, husband, wife, 2-3 kids. So I was working in a cafeteria. Okay. So of course, first of the month, you know, all these people were getting checks. Okay. So all during the month, from the 2nd through the 28th. Okay. They are literally, the cafeteria is packed. Wow. With people. First of the month, you can't even get a body in there. Wow. Now we're serving them breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but because they get their check, now they can go to fast food, McDonald's, because McDonald's was next door. I think Pizza Hut was across the street or something to that extent. Okay. But it. But the thing is that they were when the first of the month came, they had money, so they were like, "Well, you got to eat this food in the cafeteria." Right. And that just made me sit up there and look at people in a different way when I look at homeless people. Right. You know, I mean, and don't get me wrong. Like once upon a time in my life, I mean, even as a child, I remember being homeless because my mom was in an abusive relationship. Okay. So she left, like literally, packed a bag. Told me she's packed me a gym bag, and she grabbed like it looked like an overnight bag. I thought. Wow.
Wow.
And she was like, "Come on, you're going to go to work with me today." And I was like, "Okay." And that was the last day that we was at the apartment that I grew up in.
Okay.
Yeah, so she was, she was in an abusive relationship, so she left and walked. Yeah, and she walked away from everything and started over. But she had to go to the house of Ruth. We had to stay in a shelter.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really interesting. So I had to go through all that, and then she got her own place again. But
because so firsthand also.
Oh yeah, and that was as a kid, being a part of that.
Not only as a kid though, even as an adult. See, like it's different phases of homelessness. I'm sure you agree with me. You got the couch surfing homelessness. You know what I mean? Like you have a car and you have friends, and you got your trunk full with your clothes.
All right, yeah.
And you go to the couch, and then when you wake up in the morning, you go to
couch
the bathroom.
Surfers. That's right. They call them couch surfers.
That's right. And
I remember once upon a time I had I was helping out a guy who was homeless. His parents had found out about his sexuality, and they kicked him out.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I let him sleep on my sofa. He was a young brother, but the downside was I helped him get a job.
Okay.
Not the downside, but I was like, yo, dude, I gave him parameters.
Okay.
To sit up there and follow and guidelines like, hey, look, this is what you do. You come here, you need to get a job. You're gonna put your money up so you can sit up there, get your place, etc.
All right, go ahead.
And he came, and like the first day he got there, like I literally like, come on, let's go. We're gonna put in applications. Like I literally took like the Eastover.
Wow.
And like it was like it's a shopping plaza, but I was like, look, we're gonna go to these stores. We're gonna put in applications. And a couple of people that I knew that owned some shops and stuff at that time.
Okay.
I was like, hey, he may be good, do sales or something like that. Took him out to Pentagon City.
Okay.
And he went and put his applications, and he wound up getting a job in a restaurant. Okay. So I was like, yo, dude, you get a job, go to work, put your money up. I don't need anything, just put your money up. So he's like, okay. Went to work, got his first 2 checks or 2 or 3 checks.
Okay.
Supposed to be saving his money to put it up, because I'm like, dude, you're only here temporarily. As opposed to doing that, you go buy a brand new outfit, go hang out to the club.
He balling, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Now the first check that he gets, he doesn't come to my house.
Right.
Where he's been staying at prior to a job.
Okay.
Or anything, but he doesn't show up, and I was just like, okay. He comes back to the house like Sunday. I was like, well, what happened? He said, oh, wait, I was hanging out, come back all fresh cut. Like, I mean, man, and I was just like, okay, I see you.
So he took advantage of that whole situation.
Yeah, absolutely. But
and to see those are the ungrateful.
Right, but he appreciated it because when I had put him out, because he didn't know for the guidelines, and I gave him a month. Okay. But he actually got his own place.
Okay.
But when he realized
you wasn't enabling him.
Right. But the thing is, he appreciated. He said, "Yo, I appreciate you helping me out, and picking me out because they allowed me to grow up and I can stand on my 2 feet, to, get my own spot."
Okay.
And then he found himself in a situation in which all of these people were couch surfing, so to speak, of his expense. Right. So this new crew of people that he was running with, all of them are homeless, but they were homeless
until he got a apartment.
Right. He got a apartment. Now everybody's couch, grab pilots and things of that nature, but nobody's helping pay money. Nobody's contributing money.
They're not going to do that.
Right.
They're not going to do
that.
Not at all.
So that's the case where see the different levels of homelessness, like
Right.
And these guys were like, see them in the club, all dressed like, they're going out to the pool. I mean, dress.
And they're not paying nothing.
Right, not paying nothing. They're living off somebody. They're sleeping on somebody's floor. It's like.
And then want to know why? Because see, it's like two-sided. L, you still there? L.
I'm still here.
Okay, it's like two-sided. It's like because like on that half,
mm-hmm.
on when it's presented to a person like that, then it makes you upset with certain homelessness.
Right.
So that makes you become what? Judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so now you're judging. Oh, you have to. Is it correct? If I'm saying it correct, L, judge, or you have to guess on who you want to help and who you don't want to help.
It's really both.
All right, a little bit of both.
So
Yeah, because I know I'm one of the ones. If I see someone homeless or outside the store begging for money, stuff like that, yep, I don't see you. I'm that guy. I'm horrible for it. I apologize.
I'm like that with. I see. I'm judgmental. I mean, not judgmental. Well, I guess it is judgmental. I guess because I'll look at you, and if you look like, if I just think you get ready to go and hold that and take it to the dope man after you get 3 or 4 more, because I've been there before, I ain't giving you jack because I'm not going to help you kill yourself. But if I honestly know you, like, I try a person first. I'd be like, well, look, man, you hungry? Come on, I'm gonna take you to go get something to eat. I had a whole bunch like, no, you can give me money.
Right. I've had guys, even when you sit up there offering them money, they'd be like, oh man, you got $1?
Yeah.
And I was like, what happened to asking for change? You know?
Change.
Right, like they look at you like you're retarded. Like, you know, like change.
See, if I had the kind of money L got, see, L be giving them 50s and 20s. That's why they be, every time somebody see L car coming down to the light, they run to the light, they draw a sign with crayon and run to the light.
Well, if that's the case, I'm on my way down there with my sign. Shoot.
No, L's loved around. L's loved that. He don't let him fool you, because he do have a big heart. He will L give you the shirt off his back for us.
Oh yeah, we know he's a sweetheart.
He talked that mess. He only talking that mess because he might be single today and not tomorrow.
Right, exactly.
Well, no. The problem is you got opportunists who pose as holy people, leeching off people who have hearts, and then come to find out that and made about $200 sitting on the corner all day long.
Right.
You don't have to day, get up, pack up the stuff, go around the corner, open the bin, and go off. And that messes up the people who really need help.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I was watching this show last night. I can't remember what the show was, but it was a homeless dude that was walking around, and he was asking people for help, right? Certain people would disrespect him, certain people wouldn't. So he walked up to this dude who he thought was homeless too. And the dude who was homeless walked up to him and said, look, man, I see how they treating you. And the sandwich that he had, he gave to him. Come to find out, the guy was posing, said, come here, went and got in a Maybach and gave the guy $100,000 in a new house.
Wow.
They had it on Facebook.
But see, the other thing is that so what did you do? You homeless. Now someone is giving you a house. So
how do you take it?
Right.
Not so like your boy.
Right. But I'm just saying it's one of those things in which, maybe they're like mentally right. That's why they're out on the street, but they're a compassionate individual. That's why they give you a sandwich. But you give them a house and give them $100,000, they probably be like, okay, what am I gonna do with this? It's, let you know they got a whole bunch of people in there. What's the word when people sit up there?
Slouch.
What's the word?
What's the word, Al?
When people live in the houses, squatters. Yeah, he had a whole bunch of squatters in there. Right. And it'd be his house. That this little guy that just gave him,
Yeah, it'd be. The craziest thing is when that situation happens. It's hard to get them people out of here.
I know that.
It's really hard.
I know this. I've seen videos.
Oh man. So hey, Al.
Yeah.
You remember that? You know that firsthand because you couldn't put me out to save your life, could you? Al tried anything for me. I like, boy, we gonna fight.
You gotta be careful with that. You gotta be careful when people move into your house.
Heck yeah.
When I was getting my house, the lady was telling me. She said, listen, baby. She said, I know a lot of times we sit up there, we get into these relationships. You get your house, and it be your house. She said, but you get into these relationships,
right?
And that's your boo thing, and we this and we that. And she said, next thing you know, y'all go y'all separate ways. And he's talking about, I want half because I've been living with her this and that.
And they
can win. Yeah. Exactly. So she was like, listen, baby.
A certain lifestyle that she provided.
Right. She said, baby, listen, let me tell you. She said, if you like somebody you like, she said, you let them sit there for 28 days and don't let them leave no mail.
28 days.
28 days, not 30 days. She said, 28 days, you got to get out and go. Go someplace else.
No mail.
No mail. Can't have no mail come to the house.
That's right. Oh, man. So, L.
Yeah.
Now, you know, the podcast that we're doing, Anchor and all that, Anchor.com, on Anchor.com. On Anchor.com. Anchor, where you can start your own live podcast for free. No charge.
Tell me more about that. How does that work?
Well, let me tell you how it works. Do you hear me talking to you and how you're talking to me? And we're conversating and you're there, not just on the phone, but also broadcasting out to millions of people. That was all brought to you by Anchor.com.
Anchor.com?
Anchor.com.
Like Anchor, ANCHOR.com?
Yes.
You can spell. Wasn't you that champion speller in that spelling bee in DC General?
No.
Cut him.
That's what's up. So,
yeah.
in the sound and the process of that, we're going to sit down here and do something like this. Look, we got a big, huge following overseas. All right? We have a huge following overseas.
Hi, overseas fans.
Yeah, Al, can you, we're live. You're live on overseas, too. Al, you know, give your shouts out to your live fans. And what we're going to do is, L, we're going to actually bring your on into the basement live. If you sign into your Facebook Live, you'll be also they'll be able to see who you are live on our Facebook Live. Someone just hit our Facebook Live.
Hello. Oh, I'm not on.
Okay, yeah.
That's live in the basement.
Next time.
That's live in the basement. Yeah, so we're going to hook you up live like that so all your fans can see you. Right now, we're at 114 fans overseas watching us right now. So, what we're going to do is go back. We're going to go back.
What we're going to do is go back.
I'm going to go back. I appreciate us spending some time with us spending time with Art. We're still spending time with Art. Art's not going nowhere. He's here all night. L, he's going to be here until it's time for him to, pretty much that. You know, but right now we're gonna do something for those people overseas. Hell,
yeah.
Can you hear?
I can hear you.
Can you hear the music too?
Yeah.
Is it too loud?
No, it's easy.
All right, so we'll turn you down radio now. DJ Worldwide Heart FaBu. LJ up in the basement, y'all, live. Doing enough for our family overseas, doing enough for our family over here, doing enough for our Biden and Kamala Harris supporters. That's how we gotta do it. We doing enough like this, y'all. Worldwide, let's go.